Right now, tonight at 5, look at that sky, folks. It's a weather impact alert day. Louisville and Jefferson County, we're now under a tornado watch until 9 tonight, and that includes all of our western counties and southern Indiana counties as well. This is a storm system we've been warning you about for days now. Will it be in our neighborhoods pretty soon? We're going to find out, getting you ready for the next few hours. Tough weather expected. Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us. I'm Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Connie Leonard. Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell says the timing on this has been speeding up a bit today. Right, Mallory?
Yes, that's right. So originally when we were looking at this, it looked like it could be around 7 p.m. or later. But we've already had some strong storms roll through our area in terms of southern Indiana within the last hour. And we'll get to that radar in just a moment. But first, this is our severe weather outlook for today from the Storm Prediction Center. And you can see this has also changed over the last 24 hours or so, with that level 3 out of 5 in the orange color continuing to shift a little bit more to the south and more to the east. Now, our greatest severe weather risk today is for damaging winds, and we were already seeing that in southern Indiana. Big picture view of the Max HD radar, dry in Louisville, much of our Kentucky counties dry. Some storms trying to get going in western Kentucky, but that severe weather threat so far has been off to the north. And we do have severe thunderstorm warnings in place. You can see this is heading towards Salem here soon. Brownstown and Seymour, Indiana, also under a severe thunderstorm warning. This is due to wind gusts 60 to even up to 70 miles per hour. And this particular cell I was really paying attention to around Paoli. It was trying to wrap up a bit, but it does look like it is at its peak. It should be weakening as it continues to push northeastward, but still packing a punch with heavy rainfall. It had a hail core trying to form, so it is warned for golf ball-sized hail there. You can see that's just southeast of Paoli, heading towards Salem within that warned area. Big picture view, here's that tornado watch we were talking about in place until 9 p.m. for all of the highlighted areas here. Louisville, we are dry for now, but we are extremely humid. 72 the dew point, temperatures in the upper 80s, so a lot of fuel for those storms to tap into. Things are getting breezy out ahead of the storms as well, and we will continue to see these storms track east and gradually southeastward as we continue throughout the evening and early overnight hours. And of course, we'll have eyeballs on this all evening, and I'll have another update here coming up shortly. Back to you.
Mallory, thank you. And Mallory and WHAS11 contributing meteorologist John Gordon will be live on the free WHAS11 Plus app at 7 tonight, answering your questions and following the storm. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Now to the other top story we're following for you here this afternoon. A setback for transgender rights in the United States, with the Supreme Court upholding Tennessee's ban on gender-affirming care for minors. It was a 6-3 decision, with the conservative majority writing the state's law does not violate the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause.
This was the first time the Supreme Court has weighed in on anti-transgender state law, and critics say this decision may set a dangerous precedent, and they're concerned other states may follow suit. Tennessee is one of 24 states with laws that ban all gender-affirming care for minors, including puberty blockers and hormone therapy.
So we've been following the story here at home. Kentucky also one of those 24 that bans gender-affirming care for minors, and Kentuckians are now talking about it after today's ruling. WHAS11's Clarice Shaley joins us now after speaking to them. Clarice?
There's a lot of mixed emotions across the board. I've heard from an organization that supported the passing of Kentucky's ban, and they say this protects children, while others see this ruling as a serious setback.
We're in the Fairness Campaign office inflating 10,000 balloons for the annual Kentuckiana Pride Parade.
Just days away from a local celebration in the LGBTQ+ community, the Fairness Campaign office is responding to the decision of the United States Supreme Court.
This is a deeply devastating ruling that enshrines discrimination.
The court ruled to uphold Tennessee's ban on gender-affirming care for minors in a 6-3 decision. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote, "The law banning puberty blockers and hormone treatments does not violate the Equal Protection Clause."
This was a historic victory for protecting kids.
David Walls is with the Family Foundation, an organization that supports Christian values and public policy. The group supported Kentucky's version of the ban, which passed in 2023.
This is a validation of the law that they passed and worked to defend.
Walls says the procedures are harmful for children, but others disagree.
It's been really clear from all medical associations that these are safe, that they are effective treatments for dysphoria.
The ACLU of Kentucky and Fairness Campaign want people to know their options.
Today's ruling does not ban health care for transgender kids.
For those who have the resources to be able to travel out of state, they're going to continue to have to spend thousands of dollars to do that in order for their kiddos to get the care that they need.
While they're focused on education, the Family Foundation is looking ahead to future legislation.
But I think it will lead to more good state policy that I hope will help influence the entire nation to protect kids.
Now, the ACLU of Kentucky is planning a town hall later this week to inform people of the ruling. More details on that with the meeting to come. In studio, Clarice Shaley, WHAS 11 on your side.
Clarice, thank you. An ethics complaint filed in 2024 against former Metro Council member Philip Baker and current Deputy Mayor David James has been dismissed due to a lack of evidence of misconduct. Shalana Taylor filed a complaint in August of 2024. Now, she alleged that Baker committed sexual harassment while she worked for him as a legislative aide and then fired her before she could file a lawsuit against him. She also claimed the pair worked to prevent her from getting a new job after leaving her role in city government. The ethics complaint dealt only with claims of retaliation, including that she was fired because she planned to file a sexual harassment complaint. A civil lawsuit Taylor filed against Baker, James, and Louisville Metro government is still pending.
The U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement arresting 84 people unlawfully in the country during this raid at a southwest Louisiana racetrack. ICE agents raided the Delta Downs racetrack late yesterday near Lake Charles, Louisiana, after being tipped off. The Downs was right in the middle of hosting a quarter horse meet at the time of the raid.
And here at home in horse racing country, that raid is being watched closely. A well-known thoroughbred trainer here in Louisville says it's put Kentucky's horse racing industry on edge.
So we headed to Churchill Downs to follow up this story. Isaiah Kim Martinez and photojournalist Jessica Farley are live on the backside of Churchill as the spring races continue until June 29th. And Isaiah, you talked to Louisville's Dale Romans. How big is his staff there, and what would be the impact on his operation?
Doug, Dale has a staff of 40 people, and he says the majority of them are immigrant workers. He's very straightforward with that. So are many trainers, not just here in Kentucky, but around the country. And he didn't mince words. They're concerned about the possibility of what could come at tracks across America. While horse racing fans are used to seeing the magic on the track, what many people don't see is the hard work being done at these barns, largely by a migrant workforce.
I've never felt the tension on the backside that we feel today.
Longtime Louisville thoroughbred trainer Dale Romans and his team of 40 are on edge.
I worry about all these people back here who are my friends, yes.
He calls these scary times.
If you just swept them away, we'd be in serious trouble.
A day after immigration authorities raided Delta Downs, a racetrack in Louisiana, reportedly detaining dozens of migrant workers.
Who knows where it's going to hit? I mean, it hit Speaker Johnson's district yesterday at Delta Downs. So that shows that there's no place off limits right now.
Romans is planning to meet with Churchill Downs officials to discuss their plan of action if ICE were to show up at their gate. He's also reaching out to lawmakers on Capitol Hill.
We're talking to as many politicians as possible to try to get a path to work visas. That's it. That's the only thing I know to do.
And Doug, Connie, we reached out to both Keeneland and Churchill Downs. Of course, that's where we are right now, asking for comment to that major raid down in Louisiana. We have not heard back from either at this time. Doug, Connie.
All right, Isaiah, thank you so
Isaiah.
much for that report. Well, the tension around the U.S. involvement in the Israel-Iran conflict escalated this week when President Trump upped the pressure on Iran.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in his pitch for U.S. military support, insists that allowing Iran the potential to build a nuclear weapon is as much a problem for the U.S. as well. Several loyalists to President Donald Trump and some officials from both sides of the aisle are pushing back, while Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is adamant the U.S. is a defensive posture and ready if Iran targets American assets.
At the Defense Department, our job is to stand ready and prepared with options, and that's precisely what we're doing.
We don't need to escalate in Iran. That doesn't make anyone in the Middle East safer, and it certainly doesn't make the United States any safer.
Today, the Supreme Ayatollah in Iran blasted President Trump's demand for an unconditional surrender, threatening and absurd, calling it that, warning any military involvement by the U.S. will result in, quote, irreparable damage.